What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino, and I know some of y'all are probably looking at this title like, what's going on? But I guess that would only be if you haven't seen the video that I'm getting ready to speak about. Um, there's a video that surfaced. I don't say it surfaced. It's spreading like wildfire, where there was a black guy in Montgomery, Alabama, at like a riverboat type of place, and he got into it for whatever reason. He got into it with this white guy, and they squared off for a minute. But in the middle of them squaring off, a bunch of white people came in out of nowhere and started jumping on the brother. Now, last I checked, this is 2023, and I know we still got a lot of issues with unity and us coming together and looking out for each other in situations as black people. But there are some situations that are just never gonna, ever gonna fly. And something just comes up out of us when we see a bunch of white people jumping on one black man. We'll get to the police later on. But what these white folks who jumped on this brother did not expect, they did not expect the BFB to come flying in to the rescue. And the BFB is some initials that I just made up 2 seconds ago. It's called the Black Folks Brigade, because a lot of black people came flying in out of left field and started handling their business in defense of the brother who was getting jumped on. Now, growing up in the hood, sometimes it would be a situation where two people are getting ready to fight one-on-one, and it would look like even one person was going to jump in. People say, hey, don't jump in, don't even think about it. If they're going to fight, let them fight one-on-one. And that was kind of like a little principle that, some neighborhoods live by. Some people was like, man, we jumping whoever, whatever, that's, how I get down. But in a racially tense climate that we live in a United States of America that we live in, where, like I said, from the time we arrived on this soil all the way up through the civil rights movement, we have had to sit around. We had to, but we sat around and we watched dogs be sicked on us. We've watched police officers just brutally beat. We've watched Ku Klux Klan and other racist organizations come through and snatch black people out the house and string them up, burn them, castrate them, all manner of things, all sorts of things that have happened. So there's something in us. But there was something in those white people who really felt comfortable. I don't know if it was blame it on the alcohol moment or whatever, but for whatever reason, they obviously didn't see that there were a large amount of black people at this riverboat spot. Or they did see it and it didn't matter. It was like, nobody gonna do nothing to us. But how wrong they were. They were absolutely wrong. And far be it for me to be a person who promotes violence, but I do promote violence in the issue of self-defense. And in a situation like that, man, let me just say for the record, I'm very proud of those black people who came to their brother's rescue, because there would be 2 thoughts going through my mind had they not done it. The first thought would have been of just pure disappointment and hurt that they would sit around, and it was still a few with phones, doing all that. But I would be really hurt to see that they would just let that man get beat up, stomped out like that. But it would also send a message to white people who think like that, to say, see, we can still do whatever it is we want to do to them. We can still do it And it could be a bunch of them around and they're not going to do anything. See, now in the case of the police, because I told you I was going to get to the police in a minute. See, one of the first thoughts that come to people's mind is, well, man, why we don't do this when the police are beating up somebody, when they had George Floyd and all. And look, that's a valid question to ask. But what happens is something about that pistol that spooks a lot of us and scares a lot of us to say, no, don't go that extreme. Something about the threat of jail time, you know, for that offense of like, hey man, you assaulted a police officer and all that. Which, in truth, it really shouldn't matter. Really shouldn't matter. That day is coming too. Remember I said it. But, man, when the playing field is level, nah, we gonna get out. Without thought. One brother was swimming. He was swimming across the water to get to the dock to get some action. Because it's unjust. It's unjust, and it's a faulty, filthy mindset to think that you could just beat this man up where whole brigades and whole families coming out to jump on this one man, and it's just gonna be that way. Y'all gonna get in the boat, get in the car, and go home. Nah, not today. So yeah, the question is, will this spark a race war? Well, let me answer that question. You can't spark something that's already been sparked. And did we start no, we didn't start the race war. The race war was started centuries ago. For all those who have it in their mind, like, oh my God, this is gonna. Hey man, that been started. That started when we was first shackled and crossing the Atlantic Ocean involuntarily and subjected to the worst treatment in human history. The worst treatment in human history. Bar none. So, yeah, man. Shout out to all them brothers and sisters. I seen a few sisters in there, you know, scuffing their knuckles. So shout out to all our brothers and sisters who came to that brother's aid and helped him out. Because I just know how we built as black people. And had that fight remained just one-on-one, I don't believe none of them brothers would have came and jumped in that. But that's just me. But if you want to go to that point where you want to uneven the situation, then you better be ready to deal with it, because you dealing with some new Negroes today, boss. All right, man, this your big brother K-Rino. Y'all like and subscribe to the channel, man. And I'll catch y'all with another one later on. Peace.